The power failed and all the lights in the house went out. All right. Cool. All right. Welcome. How are you? We're back. Just had dinner. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight. We are going to read a ghost story, a real ghost story from one of our followers, which is fantastic. So thank you so much for sending it in. I love stuff spooky. So if you have any ghost stories you want to share, send them my way. So let's dive in together, shall we? I love spooky shit. Let's go. My aunt and uncle found a Ouija board buried in their childhood home. What followed still freaks me out. I hate anything Ouija board related. Hate it. Will never touch them. Not unless I'm with somebody who knows what they're doing. And I've never come across that person. If you know how to do Ouija boards, let me know. Would love to do it with someone, experience that. Anyway, I've never touched a Ouija board myself, and after hearing this story, I never will. Yeah, I hate them. This was told to me by my aunt and happened when my mum, aunt, and uncles were kids, back when they lived in an old duplex in Utah. Oh, American? The building was already old. Both sides of the duplex shared a basement, and in that basement was a crawl space that connected the two units. It was low, dark, dirt floor, supported by thick wooden beams. My grandma had cleaned it out so the kids would have a place to play. They spent a lot of time down there, using their imagination and treating it like their own hidden world. One day when digging around near the back of the crawl space, they uncovered something buried in the dirt, a Ouija board. Put it back. Put it back. None of them knew where it came from. No one admitted bringing it down there. But they were kids, curious and bored. They didn't really understand what it was, so they decided to play with it. No, never. Never play with a Ouija board, I'm just saying. Especially if you don't know what you're doing. They're not games. That didn't last long. My family is very Catholic, and when my grandma found out what they were doing, she was furious. She didn't hesitate. She took the board, cut it up into pieces, and threw it out, making sure it was completely gone. She made it very clear that they were never to mess with something like that again. Oh my god, she cut it up. It seems like the right thing to do, but she probably made it worse. A few days later, the kids went back into the crawl space to play, like they always had. The space had been cleaned out before and nothing new had been brought down there. But sitting on the dirt floor was a single piece of cardboard. It was a part of the Ouija board. Absolutely friggin' not. No way.
It's giving me chills.
Okay. Painted on it was the letter I. There was no reason for it to be there. No way it could have survived being destroyed, and no explanation for how it could have made its way back into the crawl space. Everyone swore they hadn't brought it down there. When my grandma saw it, she believed it wasn't random. To her, it was a message. Not a full sentence, just enough to be understood. I am. As in, I am still here. Oh, it's giving me chills. Chills, 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 chills. Why am I doing this at nighttime? Why? Love a good story, but hate Ouija boards. Okay, after that, my grandma had the house blessed, but my mum still had strange experiences in the house. Update. Thank you, OP. Love an update. A few people asked if anything else ever happened in that house. The only other story my mum had shared is smaller, but it always stuck with me. The duplex had a small courtyard between two units. My mum said that sometimes she would hear what sounded like kids laughing and playing out there, running around. When she'd go out to look, the courtyard was completely empty. She said it happened more than once, and there was never anyone there when she checked. I don't know if it was all connected to the Ouija board, but it's always creeped me out. Okay, so I've never understood why people mess around with Ouija boards, especially when just terrible things seem to happen, and especially if you don't know what you're doing. Just don't play with them unless you're with somebody that knows what they're doing. That's my advice. Thank you, OP, for sharing that story. It's a little bit creepy. I'd be curious to know if anything else has happened. Let me know. I have one more story for you. Shall we read it? Okay, so story time. One of our followers sent their experience with a Ouija board. They're from Massachusetts in the US. A few years ago, I spent a night at a friend's house. We were goofing around with a Ouija board. Why do you do this, people? Why? Why do you do that? They had in the basement. It was just me, my sister, and 2 other mates. At first, we were just getting all sorts of gibberish, just trying to scare ourselves for fun and not taking it very seriously. Then we got a message. I can see you. Why? Do I have to be alone reading this story? Well, we're not alone. I've got you. We're together. We can get scared together. There was a small window in the basement, and you could see the backyard and woods past the driveway through the window. We asked it who it was, and it spelled out Jack. All right, Jack. After an hour of speaking with Jack, one of my friends asked Jack, "Are you a bad spirit?" Jack spelled N-O, then spelled out H-I-M. We asked what he was talking about, and then he spelled out, "He's coming." Getting the chills. Let me know if you're experiencing anything while we're reading this together. Why do you guys play with these things? We were freaked out and then heard tapping on the window. We pushed the planchette to goodbye and ran upstairs. Yeah, I would have been long gone before then. Absolutely not. We were so scared and freaked out. At that moment, the power failed and all the lights in the house went out. Are you joking? Are you joking? Okay. The power failed and all the lights in the house went out. Why did that go out? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that went. I'm just gonna continue. I'm just gonna finish this. That is not cool. Okay. I have to sage the house again. Okay. Okay. We just about shit ourselves. So did I. Thankfully, a few minutes later, the power came back on, but we stayed up till dawn that night, too scared to go to sleep. We never played with the board again. Moral of the story, don't play with Ouija boards. Yeah, don't do it. Both stories should have you spooked enough. Just don't do it. Heed the warning of others that have already made that mistake. All right, well, look, I think I've had enough of reading ghost stories by myself at night. So I'm going to wrap it up. That's happened before when I was telling another story like this. Yeah. Weird. Okay, I'm going to sage too. Anyway, bestie, thanks so much for joining me. Thank you so much. I loved having you here. Subscribe to my channel and like all my social media if you like. Other than that, I will catch you in the next one. So take care, sleep tight, and I love you so much. See you later. Ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Ciao for now. Bye. Bye.